friends, welcome back to Living It Country. I'm Holly and today we have another beautiful home we get to tour today, and it's of my friend Cindy from Dwellings, the Heart of Your Home, and she has a beautiful Instagram. I'll link it down below where she shares her cabin by the river. You guys are gonna love her home. I'm actually gonna have a time stamp down below so you can see the different times, the different areas of her home starts in the video because it is an hour-long home tour. So you guys are gonna get so many ideas and inspiration from Cindy. So I'm so excited to have her here on the channel today. Before we get started, I wanted to share a quick unboxing because I'm pretty excited about the August Simply Earth subscription box this month. You guys know I share these every single month on one of the home tours, and you guys, this one is a good one. So this box is $39.99. If you've never been a subscriber of Simply Earth Essential Oils, you can get a huge bonus box for absolutely free if you use my promo code down below. And you guys, this is a really, really good one. It's got 3 really, really great blends inside. You guys can use this for your diffuser. There's a recipe to make lip balm, even a scrub. So really, really yummy scents. We have the Citrus Burst, which smells so delightful. I actually have it in my diffuser right now. I don't even have a candle going, and my husband even loves it. So that is always really important if my husband loves it, right? So we have, I don't know what this one is, but this one is not my favorite. I actually haven't used that one, but this one is good. The grapefruit, the pink grapefruit. And then we have the Jupiter Berry. So excited about this box. I think I'm gonna do the lip balm with my kids. I think that would be a really fun little DIY project, and I am so excited to share this with you guys today, and I'm even more excited to have my friend Cindy here today sharing her beautiful home. So let's go ahead and get started.
Hi, I'm Cindy with Dwellings, the Heart of Your Home on Instagram, and it's such an honor to be asked by Holly to join in on her Living It Country home tour series. I'll be sharing our creekside mountain cabin with you, a fixer-upper labor of love that's been over 3 years in the works for us, and we have a little bit to do. I don't guess you're ever all the way finished, but we're now able to come enjoy it, and it's quickly turning into our home away from home. So it's an honor to be able to share it with you. I thank you for watching, and the best place to start will be down by the creek, so let's head that way. We love coming over here and enjoying the swing. This is bee balm, which in a month or so when it blooms, we will have so many butterflies and hummingbirds here on the property. They love bee balm. This arbor is really nice here. This was here. One of the few things that was in good shape and we could keep, and I'm thrilled. I think it adds so much to the garden. These beds were here, and though they've seen better days, the ferns just grow natural here. There are a couple rose bushes. This one is about to just bust open with all kinds of blooms. But I love the autumn joy and the ferns that come back and some creeping Jenny. These viburnum underneath have a lot of large ferns that come back every year, and I keep stone around the base of these to help protect the ferns from the weed eaters. So the main part of the cabin itself, we have not done much to the exterior other than we did have to redo the gutters. The porch originally came just to the corner of the house, and where the balcony is basically was the porch underneath. And it was concrete and was really torn up. It had pulled away from the cabin. The porch posts on the bottom had to be replaced. They were real skinny metal ones that were no longer supporting. And so we replaced those with wood ones like upstairs. And had the old concrete broken up. It used to stop here and here, so the porch was there. We extended the stone out to make it larger, which we have really enjoyed. I had the stone curved to give it some soft lines, and had this little area left open. That's an azalea and some pachysandra. We're in the process of getting this corner of the garage wrapped in siding, and I've got some paint samples here on the corner. We've got a lot of repair to do out here. I think with the fixer-upper, you're never really finished, but that will be the last part for out here, is getting this area sided and the painting done. So we're really happy with how the stone turned out. The rocking chairs are from Lowe's. We bought those one year at the end of season, and they're very comfortable, and have some ferns from Lowe's and some coleus and all planted. They're kind of tiny right now, but it'll be pretty when they open up and get bigger. It's another fern here from Lowe's, and the one at the corner. But this one and this one here in this little bed, that's pachysandra and impatiens, were taken from the mountainside. They are just everywhere, so it's nice to be able to transplant some. Besides this gazebo, another wonderful thing that was here that we did not have to demolish and redo was this pretty little courtyard here on the kitchen side of the cabin, and we really enjoy it out here. This is the front creek, and there is also a back creek, and they join. Our property continues and they join back here, and that's where the back creek ends and the front creek continues. So you have lots of creek to view and lots of creek to hear, which is nice. And we really enjoy this area here. We bought this set at Lowe's as well, end of year clearance. This is off of the kitchen. So we love to have our breakfast and coffee and lunch and dinner out here. It's just beautiful. From here, you can hear the creek, though you can't really see it too well. But I'll take you along the back here. This is a pump house. It will be getting, we did have the cedar roof redone, but it will be painted with the rest of the house soon. Here's a little sitting area with some benches and a little table. Up here is the well house. And the back creek, this is the driveway, and you ride over the creek to turn into the driveway, and it continues down behind the cabin. This is where we have breakfast, and that's the back of the cabin in relationship to the back creek. Now I'll take you up the driveway and show you where the back creek starts. So this is the road that you come up on, and you have to drive over the creek. The creek starts up here. And you drive over it with your vehicle. And this is the part that continues down the back of the cabin where we just were. So let's go inside. So welcome inside. Just a little bit before I start showing you up close, this cabin was in really bad shape. It had good bones, but needed everything. So pretty much floor to ceiling, wall to wall, all electrical and plumbing has been redone. I knew back 3.5 years ago when we first started that one day I'd have a full cabin that I would need to furnish. So I started early on frequenting thrift stores and asking friends and families, if you have anything you don't want anymore, throw it my way, and marketplace. And so just to encourage anyone who doesn't have a big budget and needs to furnish a home, I didn't have a big budget either, and I didn't have a big budget for the renovation nor the furnishing. So I started 3.5 years ago collecting things for the cabin and would store them at our home in our living room as we collected them, and for the one day when we would finally be able to move in. And so it has worked out really well, and most is thrifted. A lot of it is from family and friends, so it has a history, and that makes the place even more special. So just to begin, there was an original oil system in the house that was long gone, a heat system, and so it came down this low. Our ceilings currently are only 7 feet 3 inches. And so they're low ceilings. So this vent system, as you can see, this piece here came down that low. So you had to duck some people that had any height to them. And we had to add a new support beam here. And the ceilings originally were the Armstrong ceiling tiles, and we had to take them down and replace them with this sheetrock and wood beams. The flooring was a cream and orange square tiles, and so we had those removed and the stone put in. The heart pine in this room is original. It was very dirty and marred and moldy, but we cleaned everything up, and the wood just, to us, is beautiful. The wood floors, the wood stairs here are pine original, and we had those refinished. So it's a cabin, so we do want it to have that warm, woodsy feel. And though the sun is shining, it's about 9:30 in the morning, it's always kind of dark in the cabin, so I do burn oil lamps quite often just to give some extra ambiance. So the front doors were replaced and the storm doors were added. And we did this so that we could open for some ventilation as well as hearing the creek. Most of the window treatments in the cabin are either gifted or thrifted lace tablecloths. And I love the softness that they add. The sun is gorgeous coming through in the mornings. And they're just hung with very inexpensive Walmart rods and clips. And I use twine and cup hooks to hold the tie backs. And this coat rack is thrifted as well. And I have throws here. In the summer, it's still chilly in the early mornings when we have coffee, and in the evenings when we sit out on the porch, so those are quick to grab. In the winter, it's covered with coats, but there are quite a few stitcheries I have in the cabin that I've thrifted along the way. And so I just think they add a sweet touch. I have two special photographs. My son's a photographer, and this one's really pretty that he did of the cabin. He was down in the creek, and so this is the creek water. This is the creek bank. This is one of the trees at the creek bank. And then back in the distance is the cabin. And you can see one of the water droplets that got on his lens. But that's a favorite photo of mine. He and his wife framed that for us for Christmas and took this mountain scape. Sorry, it's hard for you to see with all the glare, but they also took this picture and framed it for us for Christmas, and I just love having those here. This is a fold down Duncan Fife table. It was my grandmother's, and it has my mother's lace tablecloth on top. There are 4 chairs here for when we need extra seating, and this is a game table and a puzzle table. So the other chair that goes with these 4 is up in the queen bedroom. We have a guest book and a before and after picture book. So when people come to stay, family and friends, they can look at the before and after and see what it was like before. It's one of my favorite oil lamps. This beautiful hall tree, a friend of mine, her mother passed away, and the items she didn't keep for herself or give to other people or other family members, she gave some to me. And it's just such a beautiful piece, and I love it here at the entry. This cupboard houses the TV and games and puzzles and extra throws. It can get chilly, so we have tons of throws around for people to be able to use. Of course, in every room in the cabin, it's about the views. You can see the upper waterfall and then the lower waterfall. There's Ellie Mae. You will always see her tucked behind a cushion. So though it makes that couch look a little janky right now, I'm going to let her stay for the tour. I have a friend, Carolyn, who has an antique shop. And she carries a lot of rustic and primitive items. And our main house is a Southern colonial. And so the rustic, primitive colonial just tugs at my heartstrings. So she has worked with me along the way to give me some really good deals on furnishings for the cabin. Like this crock lamp and this table. This was a free marketplace find. Nobody bought this couch from this lady, so I was able to get that free, and I love it. This is a queen pull-out sofa, sleeper sofa. and it was Pottery Barn, and I found it on Marketplace, a great deal, so that was wonderful. This little French provincial table was a gift from my sister, and so I just redid the top. And another oil lamp. We have a buckeye tree on the property, so I love collecting the buckeyes and use them as decor. And though it's springtime, it's just so warm and woodsy up here, and you're in nature, I just leave these pine cones and buckeyes out. So I won't keep saying this is a thrift store find because I'll be saying that through the whole tour, but just know that unless it's a gift from a friend, that it was a thrift store find. This was a brighter orangey red, so I used Annie Sloan dark wax to deepen the color, and it works really well. I love birds, and so I have a lot of bird books around for identifying. The fireplace, originally we wanted to have the wood stove in the corner so that we could have a quick little fire in the evenings and then use the wood stove for when it's really cold. But that didn't work out. So we had the hearth that does run from one end to the other originally, and this was originally a wood wall. We had the hearth taken out and the stone put in because you have to have a non-combustible behind a wood stove. So we did do that, and then when we were having the wood stove installed, the company wasn't comfortable with the venting system, feeling like it would be safe. So we went ahead and put it in the fireplace, which worked out well because now I have extra seating over here. The mantle is very simple, and again, our ceilings are low, so there's not much space from the mantle to the ceiling, and I wanted a mirror, and I was having a hard time finding one that would fit the space and fit my budget. So this is actually a Walmart closet mirror for about $20, and it works just fine. 2 more oil lamps, and this piece was found when we were blowing insulation in the attic. This old chisel was found, and so it must have been left when they were building the cabin, which was back in '64. So I wish I'd found some bags of money, but that was a sweet find. So here in the dining room, I love this colonial style table and chairs. It has just such a warm wood, and the rush seats. So that was a find from another friend who has an antique store that gave me a really good deal on that. I had this brass chandelier already at home, and so I just used what I had. Turn the light up just a little bit so it'll be easier to see. This corner piece came from an antique shop, my friend Carolyn, who helped me with the crock lamp and the side table, and this is another piece that came from her shop. And this is my favorite oil lamp. I love the reflector in the evening. It's very pretty when it's going. And this piece is very old and put together with pegs, and I just love it. I love red and white and blue and white and birds. So some pretties in the cupboard. More lace tablecloths used for draperies here. It's so pretty in the afternoon when the sun comes in. The same vent system that was low in the main area there I shared with you also came across here and was very low. And originally the kitchen was white plywood cabinetry that had been painted with all kinds of herbs and herb names, and they were old and filthy and really couldn't be saved. I did try to save them at first. This doorway was replaced, this door, and but originally it was a white paneled door, and each panel on the door, on the front and back, was painted red and blue, green, yellow, orange, very bright, funky colors. There were Armstrong tiles in the ceiling here as well that were painted yellow and white, and a funky yellow and white backsplash. So I mention all of that to say that on the system that hung down originally, all of the artists that had something to do with painting a ceiling tile or a door or cabinetry or the back wall that was painted dark blue. It had picket fence, pickets glued to the wall, had clouds painted on it, and pebbles at the very bottom glued on the wall. So it was very eclectic, and so they all signed their artwork on that piece that was hanging down. There were track lighting in the kitchen as originally. So my husband and I, we purchased here in the mountains some river birch wood and lumber from the lumber yard here, and took it back home, and he and a friend of his that does woodworking, they built these cabinets, and I think they did an amazing job. I did want them to be wood and with knots to have that character and depth, but to break up, because the walls are also wood, I purchased this white hanging cupboard from an antique shop, and so it does a good job of breaking up all the wood. The appliances were purchased used on Craigslist, and it's another oil lamp that's been electrified. Some more buckeyes and acorns and all from the property that I like to keep there in that little ironstone dish. These have nothing to do with rolling pins. I think they have something to do with textiles, but I don't have many rolling pins, so I put them in there just to add a little bit to the crock. But some more of my red and white and blue and white pieces in here, and some ironstone pieces. Sorry for the glare, I know it's hard to see. But I really love that cupboard. At our main home, we have soapstone countertops, since we use soapstone again here. And a long search happened for finding this sink. I knew I wanted this is like 43 inches wide, and it's 8 inches deep, the bowls. So I knew I wanted big bowls and deep bowls so that I could wash large pots, and so that did take a while to find, but I just love it. I have this same fixture at my home, and so I put another of these faucets here. I did a run on Salvation Army when I first was furnishing the cabin, and I purchased anything lace that I could find. And when I close this, it doesn't totally cover up the window, but that's okay with me. It gives it just a little bit of privacy, and I love the softness. This window originally was a top and bottom window like the other ones in the cabin, but it's the only one we replaced. The door was replaced, and we also put one of these storm doors back here as well. It is so nice to come out here in the mornings and have our coffee, eat breakfast, eat lunch and dinner. We just really enjoy this space right off the kitchen. So on the back of the door, I've hung another piece of lace that I purchased, and did not need another door here in the kitchen. So I just used a lace tablecloth for the pantry, and I love wearing vintage aprons when I'm cooking, and that's the one I keep here at the cabin. The cabinetry turned out so well, and I love the rustic features they left with all the knots. This is a trash can. These are large drawers that are great for pots and pans and my cutting boards, and there are two of those there. I adore this stove. It was purchased for about $75 from a couple who bought an old home that lived near us, and they didn't want it. And so I've had to get used to using electric again because there's not gas here in the cabin, but there are two big burners and two small. This drawer is for storage. The drawer at the very bottom is storage. And this is about 44 inches or so wide. So it kind of looks like the oven would be small. It did to me in the beginning. But this is a large pizza pan, and it fits perfectly. So I have not had any issues with baking in the oven, and I just love the look of it. We had to find, which was kind of tricky, a large, because again, this is over 40 some inches wide, and most of the microwaves are small and they're fit to go under a cabinet, and they're not white. It's hard to find a white microwave. So we found this one at Lowe's, and it's pretty wide, which is wonderful, and because it fits well, it doesn't look so tiny over the stove, and it works really well. And a real cute find, and I love this. I've got great drawers and cabinets for storage in here, but I really didn't have a good place for my hot pads. And at a little shop, I found this, and it's a old ladder step that was cut, and brackets were added, and this little wire basket put across the top. And it's the perfect place for my hot pads, and very close to my stove. So I just thought it was super cute. There's also an electrical outlet right here in the stove, and it's very nice when I have my griddle out cooking bacon. I can put it on top here and make a lot of bacon at one time. The ceilings again are short, so I had to be careful with what light fixtures I got. I wanted something that had a lot of light, so each of these have 4 bulbs each, and but they don't come down very low, and they had that colonial feel. So I ordered those online, and they've worked perfectly. And this light was on Lowe's, at Lowe's on clearance. I think I got that for about $25, and so it works really well over the kitchen sink. So before we created this hallway, it basically opened up into a old garage with center block walls that were moldy and green, uneven concrete floors that had been painted green. So we needed to create a hallway, and what we did was we used slate for the floors and tongue and groove that I sanded and stained and varnished and sanded and varnished again to continue with wood walls like the rest of the cabin. This fixture was from Lowe's. Straight ahead behind the bifold is a stackable washer and dryer. And this is the half bath that was already here, but we had to totally gut it. We had to rework the plumbing, electrical, so we started from scratch. So we chose this tile for the floors and this thrift vanity and mirror that came with it. The sink was in the vanity when I purchased it at the thrift store, but we did have to purchase a faucet. And there's not room here on the wall for the mirror to hang above the vanity, so it hangs to the side. But since this is just a half bath, it works okay being to the side. These walls actually came from the folks that we bought the stove from in the kitchen. They didn't want the old stove and they didn't want the wood walls, so when their contractor took them down, we purchased them from them. I had to give them a light sanding and a light coat of varnish to freshen them up, but they turned out really well. And more of the lace panels that I purchased and have hung with twine. So the Lowe's fixture was from Lowe's on clearance, and Salvation Army lace panels and a new commode and thrifted vanity and sink and mirror, and it's come together pretty well. It works out nice because when people are downstairs, they don't have to go upstairs to use the restroom and they don't have to come in the master. And this hallway is small, so we did not need another door. So we have a door to the bathroom here, and the bifold doors to the stackable washer and dryer. And then we use pocket door for going into the master bedroom. And this is a turkey red stitchery. It's an old type of stitching, and I think it's so pretty. So I have a collection of it and more upstairs that I'll share with you when we go upstairs. So this is the hallway that has been created to accommodate for laundry and the master bedroom. We transitioned from slate in the hallway to, in the master, a wood look tile. And we don't have much storage in the cabin, so it was wonderful to be able to create this storage closet that's double wide and it goes back this deep. So it's great storage for the cabin. It has toilet paper and paper towels and my vacuum cleaner and things like that stored in it. So it was wonderful to be able to have some storage. In this room also, this is my granny's rug. This was in her living room for as long as I can remember growing up, and so I'm so happy to have that here with us at the cabin. Where we have the storage closet on this side, there is our clothes closet on this side. The stone to the back of the fireplace is here, and it was not a pretty stone. So I went ahead and just covered it, and on the sides we went back to the back wall, and that's how we were able to create the closets here. So it worked out really well. The ceilings were already in the garage, and they were this deep red color, but they were in horrible shape. So we had to sand them and re-varnish and patch some holes and some boards. So we pretty much had to go back with this deep red color. So that's what we chose to go ahead and trim out the doors and windows in and do as the crown. It was a very moldy cinder block walls in here, so we had to clean that up and dry it out and block, put some moisture block on, and we had to do new electrical and insulation and put the sheetrock up. New door in this area as well, and it's like the one in the front room, and so it's got a window. So this is a round table topper that I just folded over for a window treatment in here. This is an old oil lamp that's been converted to electric, and I love the look of it in here. And again, I used lace tablecloths for window treatments, but of course lace doesn't give you much privacy. So I added 2 different shears behind it with the lace on top, and used clip hooks, and I turned it down at the top, and the reason that was done was it would have been too long. So that's the way I took care of the length, was just turning over the top. My friend Carolyn again with this side tables and crock lamp and old tobacco lamp here. That's where those came from. And when our grandbaby, our first grandson, was born about 15 months ago, and when the nursery, or the guest room, was being converted to the nursery, our daughter and her husband gave us this queen bed and the bedding and the headboard and everything to store for when we needed it for a master. So this is the newest. We have just basically finished this space, so it was nice to be able to move it in here, and it's worked out beautifully. We use this piece for storage of our clothes here, and then also the TV. Our bathroom is small, and there wasn't a place to really put on makeup or get ready, so I brought this vanity from home. I had it in a guest bedroom. I found it years ago on clearance. It does have 2 drawers. I love the marble top, and so I brought it from home to use here. The mirror, though, is very dark, and it was going to be quite costly to get that taken out and the new mirror put in. So I just picked this up from an antique shop. I think it was maybe $15, $20, and I just hung it on top to take care of the mirror. It was a lot more cost effective, and it worked. Another oil lamp that's been electrified. And this piece is an old Hitchcock chair that was found on Marketplace, and it works great here as a vanity chair. There is no heating and air conditioning as a whole in the cabin. We have these oil monitors that are used for heat. There's 3 of them. There's one here, there's one in the dining room for downstairs, and there's one in the upstairs hallway, and that's how we heat the cabin. There is no central air, so all the windows are left open so that we can feel the breeze and hear the creaks. And this is the master bathroom that, again, we used a pocket door. It's not a large space, but it has what we need. We redid the floors. This was all just exposed cinder block walls and green concrete floor and mold. So this is the flooring we chose, and we went with 2 pedestal sinks. And these are mirrored medicine chests, so there's storage in each of those, which is nice. There's plenty of light. We had to redo the ceilings in here as well. I picked up this piece from Walmart. I'm still, like I said, we just finished this area, so I'm not really sure what I'm going to do in here, but I did pick up this little piece from Walmart. It has a hamper in the bottom and these little storage baskets that help with some storage. And I had this shelf already, so I just brought it from home to put in here. This lace was also purchased from Salvation Army, and to have a little privacy in the bathroom, This shear was also purchased from Salvation Army, so it's just one shear that I flipped over a piece of twine, so it's a double thickness. And when the lace is taken from the tie backs there, which is also twine and covers it, it gives privacy to the bathroom. And down here, we knew we wanted a walk-in shower. Upstairs, we have a cast iron pedestal tub that we love, but we wanted to, down here, make sure it was easy to get in and out. We have a lot of older people in our family and we're not getting any younger. So we chose to go with a walk-in shower. We used a handheld shower system, added a grab bar and a bench, and I love the pebble tile or pebbles for the floor. So this worked out really well. There is no, again, heating and air in here, so we added this in the ceiling. It is a triple unit with a fan, a vent fan, and a light and a heater, so that when you're in here in the winter, you can be warm. So this is the master bathroom. My shadow. Hi, girl. And I can't leave the master without talking about the best part of all the views in the cabin are the creek views. You can see the upper waterfall. That's what makes it so special. So this has been the downstairs of the cabin. And now we'll head upstairs. I love the shadows that come in through the lace curtains. So pretty. But again, it does stay kind of dark here, so we usually have lamp light to help lighten up the hallway and rooms. The sun is out, but it's still dark. So more lace tablecloths as window treatments here. This was actually just draped over a piece of twine and again hung on cup hooks, and twine is the tie back. But it works very well and it's so pretty. I think it just softens the wood and it's so pretty when the sun comes through. This little lamp and table and these Audubon books are all thrift store finds. My friend who gave me the hall tree downstairs also gave these pewter candle sconces, and they're so pretty here in the hallway. This hallway, the wood is original. The walls, and they cleaned up really well, but the ceilings were the Armstrong ceiling tiles, and so we had those, and there was also track lighting up here. So we had that taken out and the tongue and groove put in. And more lace tablecloths here as well. And of course, the best thing is the views and the sound of the creek. So I don't know if I mentioned yet that this trunk was my great-grandmother's trunk. And this little humidifier also came from my friend from her mother's house. Just a sweet little table to have here by the bench here in the hallway. And this little area is pretty. It adds more light here in this area. There's a shelf here with just some collectibles. Let me turn the light on. You can see better. Some old antique shoes, and I love having these old books here and there for children or adults. I've got pretty much anything to read here that would strike a fancy. Most of these are historical books here, the Civil War and Abraham Lincoln and books like that. But I try to have what anybody might enjoy when they come to stay with us. And this armoire here is where we keep all of the toilet paper and Band-Aids and extra toothpaste and some linens and towels and washcloths and all those storage things that you need. Another stitchery. Thrifted, and I think it's so pretty. I love the saying. I thought that was really pretty. Some more stitcheries here. This is the oil monitor that heats the upstairs. So there are 2 bedrooms and a full bath. The only thing original in this bathroom is the ceiling, and it also has the fan light heater in the ceiling. So we added the flooring, and this is the cast iron pedestal tub. We found it on Craigslist. And then we purchased this shower system to go with it. All of the wood walls in here I did. I had to sand and varnish. Sand and stain and varnish, and then sand and varnish again, and it was a lot of work, but they turned out really pretty. This is actually part of also bought at Salvation Army, a queen bed skirt. And I just cut it the width to fit in this window. I didn't even hem it or sew the seams. I did a quick stitch pocket for the top and just put twine in there to hang. And this is what gives the privacy for this bathroom. And it works, so it'll stay, I'm sure, for a long time, as primitive as it is. But this frame I loved. I didn't like what was in it, so I went and got some ferns from the property, and I dried them and put them in here. And sorry, it's hard to see with all the reflections, but I think it turned out pretty good. So we had new plumbing, electrical, everything in here, a new commode. This vanity I love. I found it at an antique shop, and at a totally different time I found the mirror, and they just happened to work perfectly together. The vanity, I believe, is mahogany, and the mirror is oak, but they work. And the mirror has some etching started in it because it is old, but that's okay. But originally, and I love the marble top, originally I was thinking about putting 2 sinks here. But I wanted a place for us ladies to be able to get ready. We have curling irons and hair dryers and all that good stuff. So decided to just put a sink on the side here, and then added a pedestal sink with another medicine cabinet here for storage. So that, of course, in the beginning, before the master was finished, my husband could get ready here, I can get ready here, and there's just plenty of room. We're not bumping into each other, and it just worked out perfectly. And there's a vanity stool here that can be brought over to use, and have storage bins on the bottom. So it's worked out real well. And as I mentioned, I do have a good bit of elderly family that comes to visit us, and that's what this is for. This is a hand system to help with getting in and out of the tub. There's another bar on the wall, and I have a little step that goes down here I bring in when they're here. But because this bathroom was finished long before the one downstairs was finished. But it's funny, I have found that even though we have the walk-in shower downstairs, everybody still wants to use this tub. So it turned out very well, and it works good for up here. So from here, we'll go into this guest room, which we call the queen bedroom. It does have a queen bed. In here, it also had the Armstrong ceiling tiles and a ceiling fan that hung down twice as low as that little light fixture. And so there was just no headroom, and all the walls pretty much had to be torn out, and new insulation and wiring. These are the original floors that we were able to refinish. So pretty much everything's new in here. That's the closet. This little telephone niche, I believe, is from the early 20s. I found on the side of a road long ago, and it's been in my garage forever. So I brought it here to use in the cabin. All of the doors were replaced. This little table and lamp are thrift store finds. This picture is from my sister. We added this accent wall just to give it some more dimension. I didn't want it to be all white sheetrock up here, and so it gives it some depth, and is a good backdrop to this iron bed that it was a marketplace find. Works really well in here. It's a queen size, and the rug as well as the dresser are marketplace finds. The bedding, a friend of mine bought some new bedding, and she gave me this for the cabins. Works really well. And this piece has the TV in it, and extra storage is from my friend Carolyn's shop, as is this little oil painting. I just fell in love with it. If you don't know me too well, I have a thing for birds, so I fell in love with that. I already had the lamp at home, but the mirrors also came from Marketplace. These Priscilla lace curtains here on the ends and on this small window were actually used in my mother's living room for years and years, and were in a closet just hanging. So I added shears with those. And for the part that closes in the middle for some privacy, I did the same thing upstairs that I did down in the master. This is a lace tablecloth, and it's folded over so that it won't drag on the bottom, and it's put in front of a couple. Actually, there's only one shear here. It could use a second one, but you don't really have to worry about privacy up here. You can't, we're surrounded by creek. There is no, there's no way to get around here. So it works, and it's beautiful in the evening as it's closed, and especially in the afternoon when the sun starts coming through. It's just so pretty. I love the softness that the lace adds to the cabin. This is the other chair that goes with the ones that are downstairs. It was a set of 4 that I found, and here's what it's all about. So it makes it wonderful for sleeping at night. You get that cool breeze from the mountain and the wonderful sound from the creek. And it's just so pretty. And up here, there are 2 little They aren't rocking chairs, but they have the springs, so they do rock. And it can get chilly here in the evening, so I usually keep throws out. So there's a couple rocking chairs and a glider. And it is just wonderful sitting up here, relaxing. So the next bedroom is the twin bedroom. And I really like this. It's done with buffalo checks and quilts, and to me it's just got so much character. These beds match, and they were purchased near the cabin here, and they are very old and have a screw system, long screw bolts to put them together. One was missing, so it made it kind of hard for my hubby to put them together, but he worked it out. Again, this had the Armstrong ceiling tiles, and we replaced it with the tongue and groove, and we added the accent wood wall here. All of the doors up here to the bathroom and the bedrooms were replaced. All of the walls, sheetrock and all, is new. This dresser came from my friend's antique shop, and the mirror was found on Marketplace, so they do not go together. They were purchased at totally different times, but they work so well. I just love the detail on that. And my same friend who gave me the wall sconces, candle sconces in the hallway and the hall tree downstairs, gave me both of these pottery lamps. Here is some of the turkey red stitching pieces that I've collected. And Wait to Find Them True. This one is Early to Bed. These are just 2 stitchings. This bed was my Aunt Myrtle's, so it's very old, and I love having that in here. An old electrified lamp. And this turkey red says good night. And the buffalo plaid with some lace. On this window, the buffalo plaid and some shears that can be closed in the evening and tied back during the day. View. The quilts were all found at thrift shops. The pillows as well. The red matelassé and the white were actually found at Steinmart for like $19 a piece. A little chair here and pillow, thrift store. The Serenity Prayer, the thrift store. So this is the twin bedroom. This frame was bright gold, so it's actually an oil painting, which is very pretty, a thrift store find, but the frame was just such bright gold that I used some of the Annie Sloan dark wax to mute it a little bit. And that is the twin bedroom. It has been so fun for me to share our cabin with you. I hope you have enjoyed the tour as much as I have enjoyed sharing it with you. So Ellie Mae, you say bye-bye. Say bye-bye. Y'all come back and see us soon, okay? Have a great day.